We're almost 1 month into building a brand new space game project. I'm having an absolute blast with it. Check out our progress so far. This is the planet Pyrus, located in the Limbus system, and we're zooming up on an Orion Navy Hammerhead destroyer. This is a brand new ship that I honestly rushed to get into the game for this video. Not completely final yet, but it's showing what a slightly larger ship might look like in the game. Comparing it to the size of our previous pirate patrol ship, you can see that this one's quite a bit bigger. It's got a front-mounted railgun, 3 missile pods, 4 CIWS defense points, a tri-engine layout, and cargo. Again, everything you're seeing here is very much work in progress, early stages, many little elements that I want to fix and make look better. We also have the very first working prototype of a missile mine in the game. Again, early working prototype, just testing the concept of being able to scan and fire at another ship. And once we're happy with the design, we'll go ahead and increase its engagement range and the way that the missiles fly out of it and tweak all its properties. Anyway, it's just kind of cool to see the very first prototype actually working. And honestly, right now, I'm just having a lot of fun dicking around in the game and messing around with the physics systems and all that stuff that we have set up. Today, I want to talk more about what we accomplished during week 3 and some of the challenges we faced along the way. Now, at the beginning of the week, I started to design the standardized sizes for cargo containers and sort of what they would look like. So I got a very bare bones model up into the game so that we could start playing with it, but then we ultimately shifted focus a little bit. We're kind of working on a lot of things right now, and sometimes it becomes clear halfway through the day that, hey, you know what? We actually really need to focus on this other thing before we get into cargo. Rich also got a working prototype of ship disabling into the game, and basically this is going to be a system in which if you apply just enough damage to disable a ship versus completely destroying it, you should be able to loot more from that ship, and you can do that by going up to it and then docking with it via your docking collar, and then basically transferring that cargo onto your ship. This is all in concept, it's not working in the game yet, but that's the idea of why you would have a disable versus completely destroying a ship, in which case you might get way less cargo jettisoned from the wreckage that you could then scoop up. I also added a planet to our test level. I got this planet from a asset bundle called Space Creator Pro. This is a really cool bundle that lets you basically take any type of planet or black hole or star or nebulous environment and tweak it to however you want it to look. It's a really, really powerful bundle for the Unreal Engine, and I think we'll be able to use it for a lot of the planetary space art in the game, which is fantastic. It's that powerful that I can make just about anything I want with it. Now, Rich laid in a little bit of the groundwork for our nav ring UI. This is going to be a major component of the game, and looking at the concept art here, it's going to give us all kinds of information as to what kind of shots are being fired at you, where enemies are located in terms of a directional degree, the speed of your ship, the trajectory of your ship. There's going to be a lot of information communicated on here, and we have a lot of work to do with it. And Rich just kind of got the groundwork in there so that we can decide how we want other systems to interact with it. In addition to that, Rich also got the very first prototype of a picture-in-picture system working. Picture-in-picture is going to be really important to this game because not only are we going to use it for targeting enemy ships and getting like a scan readout of, say, their weapon capabilities, potentially use it to scan their cargo as well, but also it's going to be a useful tool for engaging ships that might be off-screen. If we're having long-range missile warfare, you want to see those missiles impact the target in a cool way, and having a really nice render in a picture-in-picture showing those impacts occur and seeing exactly what's happening to the enemy ship is going to be important. So again, this is just a very, very early prototype and something to get into the game so that we can kind of plan interactions around it. We also started some very preliminary audio work for the game, just linking up sounds in-game. And I went to splice.com, which was recommended to me by members in our Discord, which, by the way, if you're interested in following the game development more closely, you can join our Discord. I'll put a link to that in the video description where you can put your ideas and feedback there. Rich and I both read pretty much everything on there, and we also post kind of daily progress reports on what we're working on in little screenshots and snippets. So anyway, splice.com Devlogs.com ended up being a great resource for getting a lot of the base sound effects that I'll need. And we got some into the game, but there's a lot of sound work to do in terms of queuing things up to trigger properly. We need intro sounds, outro sounds, looping sounds, various types of the same gunshot sound that we can alternate between to create realistic and good sounding effects. There's a lot of work in audio design. It's something that I admittedly don't have a lot of experience in, but it'll be a fun challenge to tackle. Now, partway through the week, we decided to focus on a major system that this game is going to need further down the road. It's not exactly in the spirit of a game jam, where a game jam really is designed to get a basic concept for a game working as quickly as possible so you can decide if it's fun and worth pursuing. Rich and I are already enjoying working on this game so much that we're sort of future planning a bit more, which means we decided to design a system for modular ship components, which would be the foundation for how we build ships throughout the rest of the game. It's very nerdy and technical, and frankly, I'm just going to let Rich explain how it works to you.
Part of the core of this game concept is that you can target different parts of a ship, and each ship would take damage separately, could become disabled and need repairs or be destroyed. In order to set this up, in Unreal, we would call each of these modules an actor. We'd call the ship as a whole a pawn because it's either controlled by the player or an AI. When we want to spawn a ship, we'll spawn in this pawn, we'll attach the hull to it, and we'll bring in all the different module actors, and we'll attach them to the hull using Unreal's socket system. These sockets are just points in space with a predefined orientation and position, and when we attach something to it, that thing just assumes the same orientation and position automatically. This helps us facilitate many things. Each module can now take damage separately. We can save and load a ship configuration from a save file. We can purchase module upgrades as we progress in the game, and we can spawn any ship in the game with any configuration of modules, any upgrades with this one system. This is more work up front, but as soon as we have several ships in the game, this is going to save a lot of time and improve our workflow compared to copying, pasting ships and customizing the code for each ship, a lot of reused code.
So while Rich was working on this massive component of the game, I started to work on the hero ship for our demo level. Basically, what we've been flying around in the previous devlogs has been a dinky little pirate patrol ship, and I wanted something that looked a little more Navy-like, something a little more official that could also hold its own in battle. So I started to design the Orion Navy Hammerhead class destroyer. And without going down too much of the lore narrative side of the game just yet, the Orion Navy will be the good guys in the game, and this Hammerhead class destroyer will be sort of an old workhorse of the fleet. A tried and tested design that's good in many different situations. Now, I really only roughed out the concept for it in week 3, so I'll talk about more of the final design phase of it in week 4. I pivoted a little bit because I thought it would be cool to try and also get a missile mine in the game, and the whole foundation for how a missile mine works was really simple, and it could plug into the modular ship systems that Rich had already developed. So I went ahead and quickly mocked up a missile design. We got it into game, and Rich basically rigged it up the next week. So it was nice just having that asset there and ready to play with. So that's what we accomplished in week 3. As you can see from some of those teaser shots in the intro, we've made a lot more progress in week 4, getting the fully fleshed out destroyer in the game. Rich has made more progress on the heads-up display, and for the rest of this week and next week, we're going to be looking at getting a functional radar in the game, which is a huge component of the UI and just the gameplay in general. Hopefully we can get pip, radar, and then some more heads-up display stuff showing off module health. That's going to be a big component of spaceships. Is engines, turrets, other components will be able to take a certain amount of damage before they either get disabled or completely destroyed, and you'll be able to target these components individually, which will give you some sort of strategy in battle. Does it make sense to disable the radar of an enemy ship? Does it make sense to go for their countermeasures, their engines? You'll have choices to make. And so getting those systems in the game is going to be important. We've got certainly a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm excited about it. I've also got to tackle ship destruction and make that look cool. We've got sort of a very rudimentary disable function, but we need ships to essentially explode and jettison cargo and stuff like that. I got to figure out how we're going to make them explode and set up the particle systems for that and try and make it look cool, because obviously that's a huge component of the game, is how cool does it look when you blow up an enemy ship. Now, again, if you want to follow along the game progress more closely, I'll leave a link to our Discord in the video description, and there's a link to the full playlist of this devlog if you want to go back and watch some previous weeks or even the original concept video where we kind of talk about the overall vision for the game a little bit more. I'm excited to keep doing these devlogs for you guys. I'm having a blast making the game. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Ding that notification bell to beat the YouTube algorithm with me. I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap signing off.